All right, hey everybody. So I was thinking that I would do a continuation here and just share with you the steps that I'm going through in my troubleshooting. So I'll direct you to my last video where I started working on isolating where I thought the problem was and basically proving through some testing processes that I can isolate it, which I did, and I isolated it to something having to do with the Raspberry Pi or the software that's on the Raspberry Pi. And then I thought also today it could be something with the SD card in the Raspberry Pi. And with that in mind, I picked up this 128 gigabyte SD card, and which 12 bucks for 128 gigabytes, that's like insane. But anyway, I'm going to flash StellarMate onto the new card and then install that onto the Raspberry Pi and try to run everything. I'll set everything up and run it and see if I get similar results or not. If it's fixed, then I know it's a software issue. If it's not fixed, then I know it's a hardware issue. And I think at that point I can confidently order a new Raspberry Pi with, knowing that it will fix the problems that I'm having. And that would be the hope, at least. So anyway, if that sounds interesting to you, I'll be walking through these steps. I'm going to show you how to flash a operating system onto an SD card, which is really easy. And if you haven't done it before, then stick around and check this out. And then I'll go through my testing steps to see if I still have the problem after I have a brand new operating system and SD card in the Raspberry Pi. All right, so stick around. My name is Doug, and this is AstroAF. Okay, to get started, I have a micro SD card adapter that I'll plug into my laptop. And I got the micro SD card out of the packaging here, and it just simply inserts into the card adapter like such. And then I've got the USB-C. Which way do I go there? That plugs into the side of my computer, so which I'll do. And that will then get recognized as a storage location, and then I can choose that. So I'll show you the software that I use to burn the image of the StellarMate application onto this SD card. Okay, so I'm using the freely available Raspberry Pi application. This is the disk imaging application. I'll leave a link to it down in the description. And the important thing here is that you choose the correct operating system image file. And then even more important is you choose the correct storage location. So for mine, I'm using a custom installation, which is going to be that StellarMate image file. And then for the storage, this is really important. So disclaimer here, if you choose the wrong storage location and run this image installer, it will overwrite whatever disk you're installing to. So if you were to choose the hard drive of your computer rather than a storage card, then you are going to overwrite your disk. So be very aware and pay attention to what storage location you are choosing here. You have been warned. So I'm choosing the card reader media. Everything on this is going to be deleted and then written to. And I get a warning here. All existing data on this card reader media will be erased. And am I sure I want to continue? And I'm going to click yes. And it begins writing. So this will take a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and just stop here, and I'll rejoin you once this is completed. Okay, this is about to finish up now. Just going to do a verification, which shouldn't take too long. Okay, and verification is nearing completion. So my operating system has been written to the Samsung card reader, and I can now remove the SD card from the reader. So I'll go ahead and continue. So I'll go ahead and remove that. All right, so now I'm going to go replace the SD card in the Raspberry Pi with the one that I just wrote, and then I'll have to do the setup on that. I'll share some of the setup process with you, not the whole thing, but just the main points. And so we'll go ahead and transition into doing that. There's the SD card. I'm going to have to put the camera down for this, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got that replaced. I actually had to remove the Raspberry Pi from my rail here, and I'm just going to temporarily put it back on the rail, and then we'll go inside and see if this thing fires up. Okay, so I've got the operating system installed. Had to turn the lights on because it's getting dark out here, and as you can see, it is a beautiful night and I am not photographing. But it is what it is. So I'm going to go over and see if the operating system is booted up. I just powered it up a minute ago, and we will have a look and see how that goes. I'm sure I'm going to have to run the updater, and then I'll need to create my profile. Maybe. We'll see how that goes, because I have a profile created in my Kstars instance, which is installed locally on my Mac, but I'm not sure if that profile exists on the Indie Web Manager or not, so we will see. So let me switch over and we'll go have a look at what's going on the Raspberry Pi. So this is the StellarMate dashboard. I'm going to do a refresh, and it's up and running, so that's really good. It has recognized my hardware. So there's my CCDs. One of these is the main camera and my guide camera, and it's also recognized my GPS. So that's really good. I'm not going to need Kstars running in the Raspberry Pi because I run it on my Mac locally and connect remotely. So I'll quit that. And then I want to check for an update here first, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. So in StellarMate Tools, check for the software updater. Yeah, I'm at least one version behind right now. So update's going to take a bit. Nothing interesting here. I'm going to run this install, and it's doing it right now. It's upgrading. I'll run the software updater one more time after this is done, but I've got to do a reboot in between. Just to make sure that I'm fully updated. Once it tells me that there's no other updates available, then I will be back. Okay, that update completed, and I just finished a reboot, and I think it's really notable that this rebooted in about 30 seconds, and it was taking 4 minutes, or it was taking significantly longer. I find that interesting. I'm going to run the software updater again here and see if there's any further updating needed. I'm doing this because I was fully updated on the other instance of StellarMate. Okay, we are up to date. So now, and I honestly don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to fire up Kstars and see if it's able to connect with my existing profile. So my profile is here, so that's good, yeah, because it's stored locally. Let's see if it'll connect. And it did. GPS just connected and got a fix. I'll just tell it filter is set. Focuser is connected, watchdog is connected. That needs to be set to client. Heartbeat timeout should be set first. Oh, okay. Let's see, heartbeat should be 10 seconds. And then client. And then options, we'll save that configuration. Okay. If you don't know what Watchdog is, that if Kstars here were to crash, Watchdog would be pinging the Indie server, and if it doesn't get a response from the server, it'll automatically park my mount for me because something bad happened, and that way the mount won't run all night. That's a really useful utility that's available. I think it's a Linux utility, but by virtue of being Linux on Raspberry Pi, it's available. And then I have my cameras, which are connected. Okay, so if I go over to my camera module, my camera is selected. It looks like I've got the correct settings here for primary and secondary image train. So we're good there. I'm going to turn on the cooler just so that it's running. Set it at -10. We'll try a 30-second exposure. And my filters are not set up correctly, but it really does not matter. Just take whatever's the default there. And that's a good place to put it. It's a 16-bit light, fits formatted. All the size looks correct. I'll go ahead and set the gain and the offset. And that should be good. So if I go ahead and load up that into the sequence, let's see if we can get a capture. So the sequence progress bar is going as expected. Wow, and we got an image. So I'm going to do some more testing on this and actually set up a sequence and schedule it. And I'm going to see if this will actually run, because if that's the case, then the problem is not with the Raspberry Pi, it's with the other SD card or the operating system on the other SD card. And I think I can pretty easily just continue running with this instance of the operating system. I need to run through and check all my settings and see if anything changed, but I think one of the virtues of having Kstars and Ecos installed locally on my Mac is that all of my configuration remained. It wasn't existing on the Raspberry Pi. And that means that all of my index files for plate solving and everything should still be installed here, which that takes quite a while to download all those index files. And if that's the case, I think I'll just continue with this SD card and get going. Maybe I'll be imaging tonight, man. This is really cool. So I will see how this goes, and I will let you know in this video. So I won't wrap things up right now, but I will be back a little bit later and let you know how this turns out. So yeah, I'm feeling really optimistic right now. So I'm going to get into this setup and choose a target. I don't even know what to shoot. And then I'm going to see if I can get a capture session going from the scheduler. And if that runs out, you know, for the next few hours or something like that, I think I've got it. So, you know, wow. So cross fingers. We'll see how this goes. Talk to you in a little while. All right. Hey, everybody. Moment of truth time. So I had to go through and reset up all of my port mappings in the Indie Web Manager, which didn't take too long. I just had to go through the process of unplugging everything from the Raspberry Pi and then plugging it back in again and mapping it in the port mapper. And then because of the reset of the OS, I did lose all of my PEC data for PHD2 guiding. I think I'm okay with that, so I'll just start building up that PEC data again from scratch. That's okay. I had to set everything up in PHD2 again, and that including calibration and dark frames, and that's all done. And I had a successful guiding session started, so that seems to all be working great. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off a session here, and we'll just see how everything goes all the way through from starting the session and focusing and alignment, and then see if the guiding starts up, no problem, and then if the capture starts, and then ultimately, do I get a capture? So we're going to find out. The target is NGC 7380, I think, the Wizard Nebula, and it was just opportunistic, and actually I don't know why I haven't thought of shooting it before, so I'm going to work on this for a few nights. We'll see, accumulate some data on it and see what I end up with. And then it's been like 3.5, coming up on 4 weeks since I've been able to work on my Horsehead Nebula project. So that's my main target. I need to get about 10 more hours on that, and then I'll be done. I think I have 4 sessions right now already captured, so I'll just be working on that later. I'm going to do about 50 images of the Wizard Nebula, and then I'm going to switch over and spend the rest of the night on the Horsehead, provided that this works out. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let's go give it a shot. Okay, I'm just going to run through. I did take a successful test capture of the Wizard, and I'm using this as my solver fits, so that's how I make sure that I'm correctly aligned and rotated from session to session on different nights for multi-night sessions. It's a good practice. I would suggest it. I didn't really learn it from anybody. I'm sure it's a standard thing. It has worked really well for me. And so if you just when you take your practice frame and you get it framed up the way that you like it, save that, and then in your scheduler, at least in Ecos, you can assign a fits file, and it will do its alignment based on that fits file that you provided, and that it works really good. So in the capture, I've got the setup. We're going to go with 5-minute exposures. I got a 50 count because I'm going to switch over to the Horsehead after this is done, and all my other stuff is set up. So that is ready to go. And then back here in the scheduler, so my scheduler is queued up, and I'm going to start as soon as possible. And I'm plenty within twilight right now. That was at 1813, and it's almost 1900 right now, so that's fine. So let's go ahead and get her kicked off. All right, so this should slew on over to the target. We're really close to the meridian right now. I wonder what kind of problems that's gonna. Okay, we're on target. Take a look. What time is the? Yeah, it's only 25 minutes till a meridian flip. Maybe it would have been good to wait. That's all right. So we should be over in the focuser now, and we are. I did do a focus run earlier. It shouldn't be too far out. I just did a video on the Oasis focuser. If you're interested in how I've got things set up and the focuser itself, have a look at that one and check it out. I'll put a link or do a card here. All right, good. Successful focus at an HFR of 1.10. That's excellent. All right, we're going to be over in the alignment module now. I always like to watch this and zoom in. This white field of view is the alignment. We're still out a little bit. Okay, I guess it likes that. Close enough. All right, we should be guiding at this point, starting guiding procedure. Okay, and we are guiding. And as I mentioned, I lost my calibration and dark frames, so I redid those. But I did lose all my predictive PEC data. And let's see, lost connection to the camera. Looks like we got it back. So we're rebuilding the predictive PEC, so I'm interested to see how guiding actually does tonight. And we should have a capture started by now. I can look at guiding over in the other window. It's a little bit messier, but here's my guiding, and it's updating. As I mentioned, this was the solver fits file I took of the Wizard Nebula. So I won't make you wait 5 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, we're just about 20 seconds left to see if we are off to the races or not here. Guiding's really good. I'm at 0.81 right now. It's been dropping, so I think it's going to settle in nicely. So I'm happy about that. And here we are at the final seconds to see if everything is working again. Oh, I don't think everything is working again. That is disappointing. Oh, that is really disappointing. I wonder if it's something to do with guiding or something. All right. Well, while I'm here, let's take a look and move to the internal guider and see if that makes a difference. So, well, I can't immediately find where to switch that back to the internal guider. I'll have to do some searching on that. I think I'm going to try to run this again. It's just so odd that, okay, meridian flip already happened there. So let's refresh this and let's give it another try. Okay, so I basically restarted everything and went and checked cables and then restarted the session, and I'm about a little under 2 minutes before this capture here is done. So I'm hoping that this completes successfully, but we'll see. The only thing that was different between my test captures and this was, I guess there's two things. I wasn't running in a session, in a scheduled session, and I wasn't guiding. So I don't know if either of those two things are playing into the problems. I'm capturing with PHD2 guiding again this time, and if this fails, then I think I'm going to shut down and then reconfigure for internal guiding in ECOS and see if that makes a difference. Or I could probably even shorten my capture to, I don't know, maybe I should be okay at maybe like 180 seconds on tracking only, and I could try running the session without guiding. I guess there's some options there, for testing that. Here in about 20 seconds, we'll see if this capture succeeds or not. I don't really have my hopes up right now, so I guess it's if you don't have your hopes up, you're not going to get let down, right? So I know it is disappointing. Can't hide that. Okay, let's see what happens. No, it did not. It failed. So this problem is not solved. So while I thought I had success earlier, it is not the case. And I think that means that I'm going to replace the Raspberry Pi. And that's okay. So I'll do that a little bit more testing, as I mentioned. There's no reason to do that in this video, unless I have some success, and then I'll report back on that. But yeah, anyway, I was hoping to have some good luck here, but this is how it goes. It's ongoing, and I'm happy to be able to share this with you and show you what things are like, sometimes. Yeah, so there we have it. It is not working out, and I will just keep trying to move forward on this. Well, what do you do? So just try to get things up and running and do it efficiently, obviously attempting not to spend any money that doesn't need to be spent. Yeah, I'll have to think about where I want to go, because the astrophotography, before I even started this YouTube channel, I told myself that the astrophotography is always going to be number one. Any of the decisions that I make need to be centered on doing that. That's the whole reason behind everything that I am doing here is to be able to do this hobby. And if that means having to migrate over or transition over into a Windows operating machine and using Nina, then that may be the case. I'll just have to think about that and maybe do some shopping and consider the costs involved with that as well. So hey, if you are interested in supporting this channel, become a member over on Buy Me a Coffee, and I've got a link down in the description for that. And for $1 or more per month, you can help support this channel. I'm hoping to do things other than buying equipment to fix stuff, but to be able to get equipment to do reviews and things like that, and develop relationship with vendors where they might start sending me some things to check out, and as this channel grows. So if you'd be interested in helping out, that would be greatly appreciated. I am trying to make some perks over there to give you back something, and some of that is early release images and pre-release on the videos, like 1 or 2 days ahead of time. Once I get to it and I have prints and maybe other merch and stuff like that, members discounts. So there's lots of things that I need to think about on how I can give back to you for being a member, and I certainly want to do that. So yeah, if you're interested in helping me out, then check out Buy Me a Coffee, and the link's down in the description. All right, so hey everybody, you won't believe it, everything is working. So, I am so relieved, I can't believe it, and I am just really puzzled by what the fix was. So when I disabled PHD2 and switched over to internal guiding, it solved the problem. So something with PHD2 was causing an issue with the main camera for being able to save and transfer the images. I really have no idea why. I didn't expect that. I was just going by process of elimination and isolation, and thought, well, that was the only thing that was really different between when I had the successful test earlier and then when I started running my session. I was guiding where I wasn't guiding prior to that. So the internal guider of ECOS works really well. I like the internal guider, and PHD2, it has predictive PEC, and that was one of the main reasons I went over to start using that. But to be honest, the internal guider performs just as well. I may stick with it. I may try to install PHD2 on my Mac and run it from here. I had avoided doing that because one of the reasons I liked it is because I had it installed on the Raspberry Pi, and I didn't have any type of latency or that would be for sending pulses to the mount over the network versus doing it completely locally on the Raspberry Pi. But that's what I'm doing now, is I'm running the internal guider on ECOS and sending pulses over the network, and it's working great. So here, I'll show you around just a little bit. Let me switch over. So this is the ECOS internal guider, and it's currently running. I've been running for a while now, and it's doing really well. I've currently got an RMS of 0.74. It does a multi-star guiding. As you can see, it's latched on to like 10 stars right now. And I've got a nice tight calibration plot. So it really performs well. I have always liked this guider, but like I said, I was hesitant to do guiding over the network, but it seems to be performing just fine. And if it continues to do that, I may continue just to use this, but I might experiment with PHD2 running locally and see how that does, or see if that it reintroduces a problem like I've been having. But if everything is working good. Focus running perfectly. My last run was 0.94 HFR, really good. Alignment working perfectly. These both involve the camera, so it's important that those we're testing. Everything's working fine as far as the camera settings, and the scheduler just running as expected, no problems. And I am getting images. So, I'm into my 18th image right now. I mean, I'm back in business, and this is great. I feel really relieved that this is working. So, PHD2, any ideas why that would be? I have no idea. So yeah, it's kind of a mystery as to why that would be. I might post around on some forums or something and see if anybody has ever experienced anything like this. If you have, man, please let me know down below, and it would be interesting to find out what the heck PHD2 would have with the camera being able to save and transfer images. And but yeah, what a relief! I am really happy to be back. Looking forward to capturing this data and doing some image processing and getting back into the whole routine here. So this is great. Well, I hope that this was helpful and that you kind of enjoyed this process. That I maybe gave you some information on how to troubleshoot. This is my process, and my ideas on how to basically isolate and move through and try to determine a root cause of a problem and thinking about solutions along the way. So, and I think that while frustrating and disappointing, it is a challenge and it's interesting. And when you have a success, it feels great, So it's part of this hobby, and I'm really happy that I'm through that, and hopefully it doesn't come back again soon. So anyway, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. And if I've earned your subscription, please subscribe. That would be amazing. Thank you so very much. My name is Doug, and this is AstroAF.